Alrighty, back again for a new episode and back on the Bodywork. So I'm charged up. I'm ready to start welding and making noise and dust and all that good stuff again, and get in the home stretch on this thing as far as the body goes. Anyway, so let's take a look at what we're going to do and see how far we get on this video.
No, you're not bringing home another piece of junk.
All right, man, I'll tell you what, I hate to mess up the garage when it's this clean, but we got work to do. So I think now that I've got this thing off of the dollies, when I grind all of this paint off and when I grind some of this weld off, I want to push this thing outside, just to try to make a little bit less of a mess. So let's see what we're going to do up here. I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to focus on the top. So I got all this paint to grind off. I got a little piece of rain gutter to patch there. And we've got all this welding to do. So I'm just going to get the welder out and we're going to go tack along these, right connected with these. This all feels pretty good. Got a few high and low spots, but we'll fix that. So let's just kind of map out a section here. Let's go halfway. Let's go to this rib right there, and we'll start tacking there. Come all the way back this way. Come all the way back this way. Get this in, and then in between time of letting it cool, we'll grind on this joint a little bit. All right, let's get the tools out. Let's get the welder out, and we'll I'll get a little bit done and we'll take a look. I don't really have a way to put the camera up there, so let me get a little bit done. We'll take a look at what we got. Okay, so I've been going to town on this tonight. Worked out here a couple hours, and I think that's all I'm gonna do tonight. We'll pick it up again tomorrow. So I got this seam all the way welded to here, and I got a little piece of rain gutter patched in there, and that took a lot longer than what I thought it was going to. And pretty much to there, a few spots. I'm just kind of doing real slow, wide space tacks at a time. Walk away from it, let it cool, and come back, do it again. So I still need to get this piece done. We'll probably do this tomorrow night and go that way some more. Got a couple of holes plugged here. There's two more over there. This is where luggage rack was. So all right, so we're rolling along on it here, and I guess that's it for this piece. We'll pick this back up tomorrow night once I get a few hours in and see how far we got over there. Now I've got to figure out something over here. And realize this rain gutter's pretty uneven over here where I got to patch in. I don't know if you can see that. Pretty good difference there. So I don't know if you can see where that's a separate piece there. I may have to slice this here and just kind of move that up a little bit and kind of let it go down from there. That would look really bad if I patched that in there. So if I got more of a gradual slope right there, that won't look as obnoxious, or maybe we cut it up on top a little bit, and yeah, gotta kind of figure out how to do that. But it's gonna be a couple days before I get to that, all the way to this side. So okay, anyway, that's where we're at. Let's pick it back up tomorrow. Okay, so I'm welded all the way around here. This is done. Over to over to here. So I'm not going to grind that down yet. We're just going to keep going over here and get this welded up, I need to bang this up a little bit from the inside. And I need to figure out how to line this rain gutter up and get it looking better. So yeah, I got some ideas. We're just going to have to make it work. Sorry about the radio being so loud. It's all the way over there. But anyway, and they're doing Cardinals sports open line, so we can't turn that down. We got to know what's going on with the trade deadline. Okay, so that took me a couple hours tonight. It's 100 degrees out here. So I am going to break off for tonight, and we will pick this back up probably tomorrow. We'll do some more on it. See how far we get. I'm hoping by the end of the weekend I've got all this done and ground down. That's the goal anyway. So, all right, check back in a bit. Okay, so before I start getting too crazy on welding this side, it's just kind of weird how this thing lined up, because it's pretty good over there. All the ribs are lined up. But when I get it over here, if you look, like here, this line is with the door is right where it should be with this body line. This body line down here is right with this body line. All the way down, we're good. Whoops. But if you look at this line here, should be even with this line here. That's quite a drop. I guess it's just, you know, it's just the taper this roof has when it was going back. It's just not meant to line up with this. So I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to cut this loose and cut this loose, and somewhere, and then we're going to cut under here, and somewhere back in here we're going to kind of have to relieve this to where this piece will turn up a little bit. I mean, how far is that? Let's get a tape measure. So we are roughly it's a ½ inch off. I guess it looks worse than what it is, actually. Really, I can shut this. There's plenty of room up here because this line lines up good with that line. There's actually room to bring this down. There's quite a big gap there. So what I could do is cut this along here and bring that down a little bit. Let's see what our gap looks like over on the other side. Could split the difference and do them both, but then I gotta weld both sides. So yeah, you got a pretty good gap there too. It's, you know, it's a finger gap. I wonder what it is on this thing. Yeah, this door's kind of sagging because the pins are wore out on it. But yeah, it's the same over here. Alright, so I guess we'll have to cut the back and bring it up and patch it in. That's what we're going to have to do. So we'll do what we said the first time. We'll cut this. We'll clearance it back a ½ inch this way. And then we're going to figure out where, I guess cut in here somewhere. Well, here's where the two pieces of roof gutter go together. Maybe relieve in here and just kind of turn that whole piece up. That's what I'm thinking. All right, let me get my little grinder. Let's knock all this paint off of here so we can get a better look at it. And I'll cut that and see what we can do with it. Okay, back in a few. Okay, so what I ended up doing was a slice under there. Sliced all this back off around here. Notched that so I could relieve it that way. And I got this line pretty well matched up with this line. Enough where I can put that little piece of rain gutter in there and it's gonna look all right. So it's gonna be kind of some pain in the butt welding to get up in here and get that. I'll have to probably fill that with something and then grind it, but you know, I think it's gonna work all right. So okay, well, let me I'm gonna go through here, trim this back, get these together, get this tack together, and that's probably gonna be it for a night, and then we'll pick this back up tomorrow. But yeah, okay, it worked out not like I thought it would, or good enough. So once we get that welded up, ground off, and get the paint ground off here, we'll get a better look at it. So okay, let me do a little bit on this and we'll take one more look tonight. Okay, so we've got this all tacked together. I kind of cleaned up a little more on the rail here, and these are lined up pretty good, enough to where I can finesse it and get a piece in there and you're not even going to see it from looking at it at the ground. And then this gap under here, I think we're going to do the old tried and true sheet metal squiggly. Put that dude in there and weld that up after I get that piece of rain gutter in there. So, wasn't as terrible as I thought it was going to be. A little more welding, but basically just from here to here and here to here, everything else I had to weld up anyway. So, all right, so I guess that's going to be it for tonight. Get back on this tomorrow, see if we can get this corner done, maybe, and this, and get these holes filled. And then I got 2 ribs to go over. Got to get over the center over there, so and that. So probably not going to get all that done tomorrow. Probably tomorrow, Friday, and over the weekend. Like I said, I have all this done, maybe ground down, maybe all the paint ground off it. That's what I'm hoping for. But it's coming along pretty good, I think. Okay, we'll check back tomorrow. Okay, so we are fully welded up back here. All the way across. Got these. I got a little bit of a dip there. I might have to, yeah, may have to go back and bang, you know, do a little hammer and dolly on that. But rain gutter came out good. It's good and straight. So that's how much I had to make a gap in there and fill that back up. We'll have to grind that out. We'll have to grind all this off. So been out there for a couple hours, just you know, just weld a little bit, let it cool, weld a little bit, let it cool, and for the most part I think it came out pretty good. So we're gonna get this ground, gonna get the roof ground off, get the paint all ground off, rain gutter this other A-pillar, and that'll pretty much do it for the roof for now. Now when I get inside, I think we're gonna add a brace to the bottom of this thing. So I got all these roof ribs that came off of the full roof, and I think we'll go ahead and put one of, you know, we're gonna have to grind that from the inside too, but I think we'll go ahead and put a roof rib across there just for support. Yeah, I got a bunch of them. I might as well do that once we get inside. I think the inside's gonna kind of be the last thing. Once I get all the way around the body again, get down this side, get this done, we'll go to work in here. We need to do some patchwork. Need to kind of clean that up. I want to put a piece in between there and just grind off all the old paint. And you know, there's still things to connect, and then you make a piece of the floor over there for, you know, and cut out the rest of those old doors, and so just kind of neaten things up once we get into here. So, but the next thing we're going to do once we get done with the roof here is we're going to go ahead and build this other door. And, you know, build an inner structure just the same way we did on the other door. And so we'll do that. We'll get the wheel well welded in, and you can see I got some rust to fix down there, and then there's another little spot over there, so we'll get all that done. But okay, that's where we're going. So I'll probably get back out here tomorrow night and actually start grinding on this and getting the paint off. And I know I said before I thought I was going to push this thing out to do it, but man, it's just too freaking hot here this week. It's you know, we're in the triple digits, so I'm taking it easy, kind of doing a little bit at a time. So all right, we'll get back on this tomorrow night, start getting this stuff ground, get some paint knocked off, and then Saturday, which that'll be a separate video from this, we're going to look at another car. Not for me, it's a project I did for a buddy that he wants to do some more work on, so I'll probably put that video out before this video, so you'll see that by then. It's a pretty neat project. And then Sunday we'll get back on this. So okay, let's call it for tonight, and we'll get back out here tomorrow. All right, so we took a little break and worked on that other project yesterday. That was kind of fun. But we're back on this today. So let's I'm gonna try to get about half of this done today. I want to get this ground down, I want to get that ground down, and start getting all this paint knocked off of here. And if I can get halfway across there today, I think that'd be pretty good. It's much better out today. It's like high of 90 instead of 100, so it won't be so brutal out here. But all right, so let me get on this thing, and we're going to do the old flapper wheel on it. So let's do that, and then we'll take a look at how it comes out in a minute here. Okay, so we've got all the paint off to right there. And I got all my welds ground to right there, actually a little more than halfway. And looks pretty decent. There's still a lot of primer up here, but I was doing that with a 40 grit on my electric DA, and actually the 80 grit takes the primer off better. So as soon as I get that other side stripped and ground down, I'll put some 80 on there, and we'll go over the whole thing and get that old primer off there. But it looks pretty good, you know. If I ever was gonna try to paint this thing, there'd definitely be some hammer and dolly work up here to do, and some filler work. But for the most part, I'm pretty happy with it. The ribs all lined up. And I definitely want to put a brace across the middle, probably where that weld is. So I've got plenty of them in that part of that top, and a few over there in the scrap pile. So all right, we'll get back on this tomorrow. We'll get that other side done. There's probably going to be enough time on this video that as soon as we get this top, the rest of it stripped and ground down, then we might go ahead and start on this door. I think I am going to go ahead and excuse me, once the top's done, start here and go that way. And we'll fix the door, we'll fix the rust, we'll skip over these for now and take the fuel tank off before I start welding over here. And we'll get all this done back here, get the other bed rail, and yeah, you know the drill. You saw it on the other side. So okay, well, we're moving right along. That's gonna be it for today. We'll pick this back up tomorrow for work. Okay, so we got this dude ground off here. I got all the grinding done up on top, knocked a bunch more paint off. See if I can get up here without killing myself. It's all ground down over there. Between this rib, I definitely got a high spot, so if I would ever have to paint this thing, I'd definitely have to try to shrink that or I might even try getting a shrinking hammer and a dolly under it and see if I can get it a little better. But anyway, all I gotta do is knock this little splotch of paint off of here, and we're pretty much done with the roof. Well, I'm going to take some 80 and go over it, get that primer off, so we'll take a look at it after that. And then once we get to that point, I went and pulled the mirror off tonight. We're going to start on this door and getting it lined up. So we'll do a little bit of that on this video. I don't think we'll finish the whole door on this, but we'll do some of it. So okay, we'll back at it tomorrow after work and see where we get. Okay, so we are done up here. Everything's ground down, top is all stripped. Got all the primer off. There are some little bits around these ribs. I'll probably take like an 80 grit on a die grinder and get those out of, get that little bit of paint out of there. But for the most part, it looks good. Definitely got some highs and lows we'd have to fix. If we'd ever paint this, we'll worry about that later. So I am going to go along in here and dig out all this old rain gutter sealer, because as most of you probably know, that is a rust trap in there. So usually what I do is I dig all that out and wire brush it out and take some Pore 15 on like a model paint brush, paint that seam, and then put some new sealer in there. So we're going to do that just to make sure that we don't have any rust trap down in there. It's going to keep eating at that thing. All right, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to work on this door. And before I going to do what we did last time, so this down here is moving a lot. We want to get that steadied up. So if you remember what we did last time, we kind of built an inner edge for this, and then I took some round rod and we continued that on over there. Got it good and solid to where it wouldn't move, to where we like the gaps, and then we pulled the door off and built it on the bench. So that's kind of what we're going to do again. So let me see, I got, there you go, over here in the pile. We got the other half a door. This is what we need. So this curve right here is going to be that curve right there. So trying to remember how we did this last time. I think I cut that thing in half. Let me see. Oops, locked. Yeah, okay. So I believe what I did is cut around here somewhere. We'll take a measurement off that. We'll cut that guy there. We'll get this old gasket off there. We'll cut this edge so we can separate it and get that piece out of there. So let me clean the old gasket off, take some measurements, and we'll cut this and then do a test fit on it and see what it looks like. Alright, so I got this section of door marked, and we're going to be cutting this piece off, and I'm just going to grind this edge to get the skin off of there, and then we'll do a little trimming on it, and then we'll do a little test fit here and see what we got. take a look here. So we are going to take this piece. Okay. So remember from last time, I'm going to go ahead and drill a couple holes in here, and we'll tack this here. That'll give us a little support there. And we're going to put that rod across here, and then we'll make a little piece to hold that. That should get us good. Should get us good and solid, so where we can pull this door off without anything moving on it. So let me go ahead and clean all this up, punch a couple holes in here, and then we'll take another look here. Okay, so we've got this piece on here. We're going to tack that on here. I got this piece trimmed down to match what I did over there. So let's get this on. Then we'll get that rod on. Then we'll get, we'll tie the, how did I do that? I might actually have to go back and look at my old video and see what all I did before I took this door off. I think I might have made the piece that went like the bottom cap. Maybe I didn't, I can't remember. Well, that's a good thing we got those old videos, so go back and look at them if we have to. Right now, I'm just going to do this. Too fast. Better. Just take a look at this roll. I might trim a little bit off of here. Yep. Much. There. So. Okay. Let me get this piece of rod cut, and I need to clean this up, and I think I need to trim this back a little bit. I think I'm a little too close. And then I need to cut that too. A little oopsie there. All right, back in just a sec. Okay, so I got this rod cleaned up and welded on. If you can see, my gap is good here. This is nice and flat. We're nice and flat here, but from right there to about right and there, my panel that's behind this is a little high, so I'm just going to mark that. I'm going to put that mark right there. And when I weld this, we're going to trim that down a little bit. We're going to cut them welds. We're going to knock that down a little bit to give me that gap I want in there. Other than that, it looks pretty good. So this is getting nice and sturdy. So what I want to do is I went back and looked at my other video of how I did this. And I want to put a little bit of inner structure here on this to hold that steady, because you can see that's still got some movement to it. So I did that, and I put this bottom cap on to about right there. Is what I did before I took the door off. So good thing to have those old videos to go back and look on. So let's I'm going to go ahead and cut that piece off the other door, off the other hunk of door, and we'll get that tacked on there. And then that might be all we do on this video. I don't want to run too long. And then next one we'll pick it up again with getting a bottom cap on that door. We'll get this door off and we'll get it put together. So let me get that piece cut, and we'll tack that dude on there and get it trimmed off. Okay, so I cut this piece off the other door, trimmed it up, cleaned the edges up, and the way this thing goes, if you remember the other door, so I got a lip there. We're going to lay it over there. We're going to tack that lip, and then we're going to tack it there. Okay, so we'll run a couple tacks there, and we'll fold that over, or not fold it over, push it over, do a couple of tacks there, and we should be sitting here looking at the other door. It's pretty close to what we did over there. Just a few tacks to hold it. Once we get the door up on the table and actually do some roof building on this thing, and we'll make all that nice and neat. go. I'll just hold it together for now. And I need to trim a little off the bottom there. You see that in the picture? So I got this notch here. I need to trim that so this will close. We'll close it and take a look at what we got here. To get them more solid. They can fix that. I'll just weld that piece right back on if I need to. Alright, let's see what we got. There's a bit pushed down there. Done that a little bit. Undo that. Just a little piece too by the way. There we go. Fix that little groove. That got it. Get on close. Alright, it's pretty good. So I'll have to widen my gap up here a little bit and grind that. I'm going to get that bottom cap on there before we take this door off. And just make sure this is good and solid and it's not moving like that before we take this door off. Because I want to make sure I need to trim a little there. Weld a little piece on there. Just want to make sure it stays where I got it when we take it off. But pretty happy with that. All right, so All right, so we got quite a bit done there, and I think we're looking good and on the right track. So I am gonna pull my car back in, wrap it up for tonight, and go watch the baseball game and finish this video up and get it posted. We'll get a word from the Lord and see what He's got for us tonight. And I appreciate y'all watching, and we'll catch you in just a few. Hey everybody, thanks for coming along and checking out our latest installment, and I think we made pretty good progress this time. I was glad to see the roof all welded up and getting on that other door, so you know, I think we could safely say we're maybe past the halfway point on all the welding. I know I'm going to do the inside of the bed. I'm going to, like, you know, double panel that, so that's going to be some work. But as far as the exterior body, I think it's coming along good. So anyway, appreciate y'all hanging in and staying with it, and those that checked out my last video going down and doing my buddy Andrew's car. I had a good time doing that. It was nice to do something different. But anyway, for the message today, I just thought I would piggyback on our message from our Sunday worship service. Like I've said a few times, we've been going through the book of Deuteronomy for the last couple of months, and you don't hear the Old Testament preached on a whole lot these days. You know, snippets of it, but our pastor brother Matt has really gone through the entire book of Deuteronomy and drilled down on it, and it's been some great stuff. And then showed how it fits in our lives and how it fits in with the apostles' life in the New Testament. So anyway, there were what we were talking about Sunday was the principles of true worship, the principles that we should, what our worship should look like when we're addressing the Lord. And so there's 4 of those. And I gave you several scriptures to talk about those. I'm just going to give you one scripture for each point he gave us, and just going to do a little description of that. So the first principle for true worship was our worship is to be exclusive. And the scripture that went with that was 1 Corinthians 19 through 20. 1 Corinthians 6, 19 through 20. So let me find that. Let's see. That's not it. 6, 19 through 20. Okay. Let's pick it up on 18. Shun all immorality. Every other sin that men commit is something outside the body. But an immoral man sins against his own body. Again, do you not know that your body is the shrine of the Holy Spirit that is within you, the Spirit which you have from God? Moreover, you are not your own masters. You were bought, and the price was paid. Therefore, honor God in your bodies. Great message there. Point number 2, our worship is to be sacrificial and God-directed. And we're going to look at Romans 12, 1 through 2. 1 and 2. I entreat you, brothers, by the mercies of God, to offer your bodies as a living and holy sacrifice acceptable to God. For this is, I don't know the picture there. For this is your rational worship. Do not conform to the fashions of this world, but be transformed by the complete change that has come over your mind, so that you may discern what God's will is, all that is good, acceptable, and perfect. And great message there. And was it on this point or the next one? No, it was on this one where we talked a little bit about, you know, our sacrifice should be of our first fruits. That you know, I've talked about this before when we're tithing. That should come out of the first of our pay, I guess, of what we get from our job. That's something I really believe in. I know that one of the points that was preached on with this years ago that I heard was, should you tithe out of your net or out of your gross of your pay? My personal belief is that you tithe out of your gross pay, and that's what we do, because God is first, Uncle Sam is second. So You can't give God too much. That's all I can tell you, that the blessings you receive will be greatly returned by being obedient in this area, and I can attest to that. So anyway, point number 3, our worship is to be guarded. John 17:15 through 17. Let's go back to that. Back here. What's that? John 17. It's over here. What's going on here is this is when Jesus is praying in the garden, and he's praying for his apostles. And he says, I do not ask thee to take them out of this world, but to keep them from evil. They do not belong to the world, even as I do not belong to the world. Consecrate them by the truth. Thy message is truth. Just as thou hast sent me as thy messenger to the world, so I send them as my messengers to the world. And it is for their sakes that I am consecrating myself, so that they also may be truly consecrated. I always thought that was awesome, that Jesus was praying for his followers, and not us. And he knew he was sending them out into a tough world that there was gonna be rejection out there, and some of them would eventually give their lives for the faith. But he asked his Father to strengthen them in the truth, and to keep them from evil. To bless them. So that was pretty awesome. Point number 4, our worship must exalt Christ. John 5:18 through 21. Let's take a look at that. My Father works to this very hour, and I work also. This made the Jews all the more eager to kill him, because not only was he doing away with the Sabbath, but he actually called God his own Father, putting himself on an equality with God. So Jesus made this further reply. In truth, I tell you, the Son could do nothing of himself. He does only what the Father is doing. Whatever the Father does, the Son does also. For the Father loves his Son and shows him everything that he is doing, and he will show him still greater things, so that you will be filled with wonder. For just as the Father raises the dead and gives them life, so also the Son gives life to whom he pleases. And what he was talking about with this was how we can get too legalistic with our faith, trying to make sure we've got all the T's crossed and the I's dotted, and we're doing the right things, and we're volunteering for the right things, and we can get to a point where we're doing that to draw attention to ourselves, to say, hey, look at me, I'm the righteous person here. I'm doing all this stuff. And the truth is, we're all sinners. None of us are righteous. It says in the scripture, none is righteous, not even one. And when we do these things, when we are keeping God's law, we need to be keeping God's will. We need to be keeping it because we are exalting Christ, and because we love Christ, and because we know it's the right thing to do, not because it's what we have to do, or we feel like we should do. And I know I can struggle with that sometimes. I think we probably all can. So anyway, great message. Hope you like that. If you ever want to see our full sermons on church, you can go to look at our website. It's Faith Baptist in Crystal City, Missouri, or Festus, Missouri, one of the two. And Brother Matt posts those sermons every week. So I'm just giving you little snippets. Probably not doing a great job at it, but I'm going to let the Lord deal with that the message is getting across. But if you ever want to see the whole sermon, check it out. You'll really like it. So let's have a quick word of prayer. Father, I just thank you for this time together. And I just ask for everybody out there that's watching this video, and for myself, that would follow the points of these foundations of worship, that it would be for the right reason, that it would be pleasing to you, that we would avoid sin, that we would repent of our sin when we do sin, and that we just keep that relationship where it should be with you, Father, and that we strive to grow in that relationship with you and follow you on a daily basis, and to spread that word wherever we can. We ask this in the name of your precious Son, Jesus. Amen. All right, hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment. So thanks again for coming, and next video we'll try to get this door knocked out.